Hey guys, and thanks for joining me for yet another video. In this presentation, we're going to take a look at how to make a 6-bean salad. Now, these beans have come pre-cooked. They were in a can, and what we did was we integrated some cooked minced chicken as well as some feta cheese into it. It's now become a high-protein salad and very tasty. Let's get into this video, y'all. Hey guys, and thanks for joining me for yet another video. In this presentation, we're going to make a bean salad. Yes, I've made a bean salad before. However, this one's going to contain feta, and it's also going to contain some lean ground chicken. So, in order to make this recipe, you're going to need 2 cans of 6 beans. It's a mix of 500 mils. You're also going to need some chicken base seasoning, some hot sauce, some green seasoning, some minced garlic, minced ginger, of course some feta cheese. This is a pound of ground chicken that I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna cut up an onion to cook with that, and I'm also gonna need an onion for the beans. And I have 2 halves of a red and orange pepper. You're also gonna need the juice of 2 lemons. Now to start, what I did was I put a tablespoon of butter in here, as well as the whole white onion that you saw before. That's been minced. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be stirring this around a little, getting this a little bit marinated for about 3 minutes before I put in the ground chicken to join it, and then we'll further season that. So it's been 3 minutes later, and we just now added our minced chicken to our pot. And what we're going to do now is, before we actually integrate everything, is we're going to start seasoning this. So we'll start by adding 1 tablespoon of chicken base seasoning, 1 tablespoon of green seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon of hot sauce. This is just for a bit of flavor. 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, and 1/2 teaspoon of minced ginger. And then what we're going to do is we're going to integrate these flavors together. So, and everything's on a medium-high heat, by the way. But we're going to start integrating this chicken so that it gets the flavor that we just put in there. So we're going to mix it around until everything's incorporated nicely and allow it to cook. Hey y'all, so it's been about 10 minutes after I put the ground chicken in, and it's cooked really nicely, like it's ready to go. So what I do now is I turn off my stove, and at this point is where I kind of put in my onions, so they get a bit of a, onions have a really strong flavor. I don't need it to cook, but because the stove is off and after I mix this in, it's gonna make the onion a bit more mild than being too strong in the. So yeah, the stove is off. However, I'm just mixing the onions into the meat so that it gets a bit milder and not as potent as raw onions, So that's all this is. You don't have to. If you prefer nice strong onions in your bean salad, then you'll just put it in later on when you're actually putting the dish together. But for me, this actually helps to make the onion a bit more mild. So our next step would be to empty our peas into a strainer. And what we're going to do is we're just going to rinse this under tap water. So we're just going to shake it around. As you can see, all the brine, all that suds down there is the brine. So we're just rinsing off the brine off the beans. And then when it's been rinsed enough, we're just going to set it aside for about 3 minutes. So now we're going to start seasoning these beans. So here we're going to go in with some extra virgin olive oil. We're going to go in with about 2 tablespoons of that. We're going to go in with 2 tablespoons of minced celery, the peppers that we had earlier, the 2 halves of orange and red peppers. Next, we're going to go in with our minced chicken, 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, 1/4 teaspoon of hot sauce, Going in with a tablespoon of chicken base, a tablespoon of green seasoning. So I'm gonna mix in these flavors, make sure it tastes right, and then I'm gonna add the cheese. The cheese is just like literally the icing on the cake. So I'm gonna mix this in and I'll be back. So the last two ingredients to go would be the juices of 2 lemons that you saw. So we're gonna throw all of our lemon juice in here. We're gonna mix that in eventually. For the feta, I have about half cup of feta, just over half a cup. So how I break it up is I just go in with a fork and I just, you know, mince it into some nice minceable pieces before I throw it on there and mix it in. So I'm gonna crush this a little bit. Yeah, so the last step would be to sprinkle our feta cheese over top, and then we're gonna mix that in as well. So we're gonna mix that into our salad. And yeah. Now, as you could tell, this is going to be a pretty high protein salad. I mean, there's meat, there's beans, there's feta cheese, and it's well seasoned. So yeah. Hey guys, I just wanted to come back and show you the finale of the bean salad. So I did put it in a container, or I put a portion of it in a container here. And yeah, this particular one I topped up with extra meat. But yeah, so there's a bit of sauce in there, and as you can see, the beans are all seasoned and soaking. This is ready to eat ASAP. I prefer it cold. Some people warm it up, but yeah, this is ready to go.